Welcome to This Week in the Tech Boy podcast. We have so much to get into today. King of Nothing finally launched a new video. He talked about Meta and how Meta is apparently so bad, how Mark Zuckerberg is secretly evil. Is that true? We also have some headlines from TheTechBoy.org, and also there's this insane trend that's going on Reddit right now. First of all, there's a whole bunch of teens that are wealthy and have wealthy parents, and second of all, there's a bunch of teens who have wealthy parents or have wealthy friends, and they go on trips with them. And thirdly, on Reddit as well, there's this whole trend of the parents of the teens who have wealthy friends are mad that their teens have wealthy friends, because of course. And fourth, on top of that, people on Reddit are like, hey guys, it used to be the house your teen wants to be at on all those parenting blogs that I like to read for intelligence gathering purposes. But first, let's get over to the TechBoy.org, the greatest tech website on planet Earth, to talk about how the artificial intelligence haters were right. No, they weren't. No, they won't. Okay, so Matt Walsh, this isn't the thing for you. We're not we're not capitulating to you. I did that entire spiel about how artificial intelligence will save this company, how artificial intelligence will help us defeat the preppies, how artificial intelligence will help us, create better content. I'm not turning back on this, but artificial intelligence, the rise of artificial intelligence did show something here. In 2022, when artificial intelligence was really coming out with generative AI from ChatGPT, right? Now, what do we have that's happening? You type AI into any search engine right now, you type AI into Google, and what are you going to get? You're going to get a whole bunch of ads for ChatGPT. You're going to get some ads for Bing. You're going to get some ads for the AI phase, the AI hype that we are in right now. It's going to be really hard to find out how this artificial intelligence emerged, right? I had to do some research to find out how did Google get Bard working like 4 or 5 months after ChatGPT launched. It's not like making and coding an entire artificial intelligence chatbot is easy, right? Even for a company of Google's magnitude, that takes a lot of work. But I had to go in and do some deep diving and found out that they actually already had a model, but they didn't want to release it to the public because Google was wimps and they thought, hey, this is scary. And then ChatGPT beat them to the punch. Google Gemini should have been first, but I digress. The point is that when a new technology comes in, like artificial intelligence, all the old technologies kind of get swept under the bridge, and we can't really find research about these technologies. In 2004, cell phone reviews, even though cell phones had much less features than the cell phones of today, were a lot more in depth. You could talk about what they did more back then. Computers and even phones could be used and had modems built into them. Back then, you could probably in 2004 look up how a BPS system would and find out more information about such things. Right? When I was growing up, and still today, the answer to most things was computer. How did this graphic work in the movie? Oh, computer. Oh, how did they do this? Oh, computer. Oh, how did they look up this in this database? Oh, computer. Artificial intelligence basically turns everything into its own system. I mean, the internet did this as well, right? I'm assuming that in the 90s and in the 80s, when you wanted to convert a file, you could convert a file, right? But you look up how file converters work right now. Do it right now, all right? No one's watching this podcast. Why don't you guys go do it right now? Look it up. What do you find? Oh, you just find it. It goes out to some server somewhere, and it kind of changes the files. Yeah, how? How did they code that? No one knows. No one can really explain that. No one can tell me how these things work. And that is one thing that I really like almost as much as winning, which is knowing how something works. How does a cell phone actually work? How do these file converters actually work? How does all these programs actually work? And with the advent of the internet and now artificial intelligence, they're all becoming a catch-all programs, like web apps, right? You want to convert a program, a file, you want to, change something, you want to make some music, you can do anything that you want on a web app, but you don't really know how it works intrinsically on the hardware of the system. You don't know how it works on the server side of the system. You don't really know how any of that stuff works. Now with graphics and CGI, boom, you have artificial intelligence that does that. It's really simple because it's actually easier to explain something that's complicated than it is to explain something that's simple. It's really hard to explain how a four-function calculator works, right? I have my NumWorks calculator around here somewhere. Right, it's a smart calculator, runs an operating system. We have the NumWorks app database up here on TechBoy.org. Right, if someone asks me, how does this calculator work? I can say, hey, guys, it's coded on the NumWorks operating system. This is how it works. This is how we use it. And that makes sense. But if someone were to come in and ask me, how does a four-function calculator work? I'd be like, well, it uses electricity for something, right? Even though a four-function calculator is intrinsically more simple than a NumWorks works calculator. Like CGI from the 90s is more simple, but I don't understand how it works. I mean, I can understand how artificial intelligence works from a high rate. You know, you scan in all the images from Instagram, you have all these descriptions, and then you can kind of merge them together to create a description of something that hasn't been created. I understand how that works. I understand how an LLM works, but does anyone actually understand how some lower level technologies like a file converter works? No, not really. Not in my opinion. You know, these cell phones. How did these cell phones not? How did they work from base station to base station, or from, if they're a satellite phone, from base station to satellite work? No, how did they work back in 2004? You know, people were playing games on them. You know, Liz had a phone back then. You know, people were texting. I'm assuming the texting saves the storage, right? How did these phones work? I mean, if they didn't really have an operating system, I mean, if you're going to ask me to describe the Nokia N95, I say, boom, easy. It's using Symbian, of course. You know, boom, easy. It's using Android, of course, for some Android phones. Boom, easy. It's using iOS, of course. But you know, the iPod, like the tiny little iPod Nano from like 2012, it wasn't using iOS. It's using this own little real-time operating system. How did that work? How did they code that? You know, these little real-time operating systems, these little bits of code, these little bits of computing history, these older cell phones that are using some sort of Java operating system or their own little embedded operating system, they really confuse me. They confuzzle me, as someone would say, because like, how do these things actually work? And I think we're going to lose that with artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is such an all-encompassing tool that's going to be merged into everything that we see today. I mean, artificial intelligence has already replaced 99% of the spell checking usage on my phone using Galaxy AI. Are people going to understand how spell check works in 5 or 6 years later into the future? Maybe not 5 or 6, but 50 years later into the future, right? Are people going to understand how word processors worked 50 years later into the future? Because what I feel also is that computers are regressing back in time. You know, in the 60s and 70s, I don't really understand how these things work. Like mainframes. Here's a perfect example, and then actually for what we're talking about here. Mainframe computers. No one really can explain how they work. Just you know, people tell you, oh, mainframe computers, they just you know, they run systems, and now the entire airline traffic industry runs on top of it. How? Well, you know, they run these programs or whatever. No one really understands this, but what you need to understand is that they are these terminals that they had back in the 60s and 70s that you could connect to, and they're basically thin clients. They connected to the mainframe, and somehow, some way, without using the internet, they were able to do stuff like word processing. But if the terminals was disconnected from the mainframe, then it wouldn't work. Boom. What does that sound like today? Sounds like a Chromebook. If your Chromebook isn't connected to the internet, then bada boom, bada bang, your Google Docs doesn't work. If Google Docs server goes down, or if you say something inappropriate on the Google Docs, your Google Docs server will go down. In 50, 60 years from now, the internet's going to be so much, it's going to be essentially essential, right? I mean, something not having internet today is insane. Something not having internet in 50 years, unless people are, of course, going back and regressing, is being anti-internet, like being anti-AI, which I don't really think that's going to work. You know, these stupid movements, these people standing in front of the cars, you know, protesting and stuff like that, just drive over them. I don't think these protests are actually going to work. Anyway, my point is, people are going to look back and they're going to be wondering, wait, how did Microsoft Word work on a computer with 2-3 gigabytes of RAM and it worked offline? Like, how? And then they're going to be wondering how that worked. And that, you know, that really doesn't make much sense. That really won't make much sense to them. So I think that what we need to do is start preserving the technology like CGI and all the technologies that artificial intelligence is going to replace, and start studying up on. And also, we need to have artificial intelligence that's really good for research purposes as well. I think Perplexity is great on that. I'd like to see maybe we can have Google Gemini with Scholar on it. I mean, that'd be great. Use of artificial intelligence time as right, because the technology the technology timeline in history is kind of iffy. Yeah, go look up some blogs about the history of the smartphone or the internet pre-AI. It's not very in depth, and you know, the people will talk about the internet. Oh, you know, you have this and this and this, but they don't really explain in depth how it works. I mean, it's like content for fifth graders, and that's what the rest of the internet is. Now, artificial intelligence does have one problem, and that is it does allow people to create quote unquote slop. Now, I hate that term for the artificial intelligence generated videos. That is a technological masterpiece that people need to show some respect for. I mean, what you're seeing here is unprecedented, never seen before. But you know, we do have some sloppy articles where people can just kind of spam the internet with SEO. But I think Google and all these other internet tech companies are smart enough to realize what's going on, and I think they'll be smart enough to fix this, because if Google doesn't want to lose their 90% market share, then they're going to get better. I mean, that is the purpose of competition, which I kind of is a great segue into what we were going to talk about for our video about King of Nothing, saying that everybody hates Mark Zuckerberg. And I don't understand this. Now, I will preface this by saying I do like King of Nothing. Now, sometimes he goes on videos and makes videos about people, I like, and he doesn't like them for some reason. Right, but that's fine. I've always said that, I like watching content by people whom I disagree with as long as it's funny. Like I said, it's Stanley Animations channel. Sure, he's acting like that the entire South is, a freaking Klan rally running around there, and that's entirely wrong, but, at least he's funny. So, I'll give him a pass. But King of Nothing, he's a little bit more sane than that. He's not running around saying that South Carolina is having Klan rallies or something like that. Okay, make something believable, bro. Anyway, King of Nothing, I like the guy. He's talking about Mark Zuckerberg, and he talks about how he hacked into the Harvard database and made this face swap thing, and he did some shady thing. Yeah. Okay, look, Mark Zuckerberg did do some shady things, and yes, yesterday I did talk about how teens shouldn't be drinking. Which, side tangent here, why is everybody so upset? I did this in the America Bad Reddit. I got some pushback on it, but overall, it's one of my top posts of all time, so that's good. I am a very famous America Bad contributor, but. Why are people so intent on having 18, 19, 20-year-olds drink alcohol? Like, if it was up to me, they wouldn't. No one would be drinking at all. But like, okay, it's at 21. Who cares? It is not your human right. Okay, no one. Who has died because they didn't have alcohol? Okay, no one. What do people need alcohol so much for? Okay, and those kids who got raided and who got caught, they deserved it. If they did wrong and they got caught, I don't know why people online are freaking out about this. I mean, sucks for them. Womp womp. Hey guys, don't post your crimes on the internet. Okay, 249 people all committed the crime. Okay, look, one time I committed a sting operation against 6 people. And people are gonna say this against me. Oh, you side with Mark Zuckerberg for doing some shady stuff that I don't really care about, but you said that wrong is wrong and right is right. Well, yeah, okay. First of all, Mark Zuckerberg was able to get out of the situation, and they won't. And second of all, I have sided with some people who did some illegal stuff some of the time. Anyway, he's Teflon. He's untouchable. He's unbeatable, and that's cool. Okay, that is actually, when you look at this from a pragmatic level, it's actually pretty cool. To do what he did and pull what he pulled and be able to get away with what he got away with is cool. I mean, no one died. Okay, did anyone die? No. Okay, then we're fine here. Okay, I'm not saying that you should go out there and murder someone and get away with it. No, I'm just saying like, he committed some computer stuff. Big whoop. Yeah. In the past, I personally have not committed any crimes, but I've teamed up with people who have done some wrong. I mean, our own national security advisor blackmailed people, but they were doing wrong anyway. We had a plan to team up with potential felons and Fate GCam, who was our greatest ally, which is also rife with some moral issues. So it's not behind the bell. That's the thing that I would have done the same should I be in his position. Also, some other kids, some other intelligence agencies were sneaking out of the houses. So, I mean, like, is that wrong? Yeah, sure. But I mean, are we going to sit around here and be like, hey, guys, yeah? No. Look, if we ran school like saying everyone had to adhere to these strict moral standards and have them all take the purity test or something, we'd only have 2 agents, and that's not a good way to run a school. Okay, look, we'll work with the 33s, we'll work with the 100s, we'll work with the 50s, we'll work with anyone in between, as long as you're not doing anything illegal that directly affects me. So if you're going to steal a car, don't steal my car. Okay, the China stuff that he did was bad and is anti-America, so I'm anti that. But he didn't even get into China, so it doesn't really matter. So all the stimping that he did for China was absolutely for nothing. He didn't get into China, so all the crimes that could have been committed didn't happen. So I'm just gonna ignore that from there. But I can't really find any other real criticism. Oh yeah, he did some kind of maybe sort of illegal stuff back at Harvard. I don't care. Oh, the kids are upset and have issues or shortened attention spans. This was such a major issue. They're saying 1 in 8 kids got mad because they saw something on Instagram. Okay, guys. Now, I don't like this person, but, she said something smart. Life is tough. Get a helmet. Okay, people. Please, cry me. Oh, no, you saw a picture on Instagram and it made you sad. Is that supposed to be a crime now? Like, grow up. No one is forcing you at gunpoint to use the app. If it makes you that sad to see someone prettier than you, then leave. Okay, like, do you people not go outside? Do you not go to school? Okay, I can ascertain to every person on planet Earth that there is, except for one person who's prettier than you. Okay, so when you open Instagram, it's just going to show you that too. What do you people think that if you don't use the app, then there's this as well? No, and then you're talking about people have short attention spans. No one reads books anymore. Oh, did Facebook, did Meta burn books at the stake. That they apparently ban books because you know, I have been able to read books. I read lots of books, and I've been able to use meta services. Oh, you know, it fries your brain. Like okay, and uh, like what kind of what kind of problem is this? Crimean River. I want you people to come up with things that you want teens to do. You come up with a solution for that first. Oh no, spending all their time. All right, you come up with a nice teen safe internet platform. You come up with something that's that's fun. You come up with something. No one's come up with anything. You come up with something for teens to do. Okay, once you come up with that, then we'll get to that. But right now, there's nothing. Okay, and that's your teen redditor who apparently is going on trips on private jets with all their wealthy friends. But then at that point, it's different. And then of course they're like, oh, they don't let their teens use these services. Now I think it's kind of sad they don't let them use these services, but of course they don't let them use these services. They're multi-millionaires and billionaires. I mean, you know, their team would be under constant threat. Under more threat than any team that's on the service and platform today. Okay, the average 6 to 10,000 follower account isn't, you know, under threat. They're not under fire. They'll be fine. Okay, you know, if you're a child of Mark Zuckerberg, you are under more threat because of who your father is than, you know, the average random kid from Sugarland or something like that. Okay, you know, the random kid from the Woodlands, it's fine. Okay, Kinley is fine, people. No, there are no threats against her person. No credible threats. Right? And then he talks about, oh, well, it's taking away human connection. You know, used to be, this is from King of Nothing, used to be getting out there and getting rejected by a girl, and used to be getting out there and getting drunk in a bar. Guys, once again, back to the drinking thing. Getting drunk is bad, and I assure you, no one is sitting out there being like, hey guys, yeah, I get rejected today, but there's Instagram, and I'm just going to stay home. Okay, first of all, there's a 98% failure rate, so I don't really understand why anyone would actually do anything. Second of all, the real world is, you know, people go, oh my goodness, your internet failed. Yeah, whatever. The real world is actually boring sometimes. Yeah, guys. You know, oh, touch grass. Grass is boring, and I'll make an app for that. But you know, you people haven't actually given any solutions. You just offered some vague criticisms, like, oh, people, the internet entertainment content is too short, and we have such a splintered populace of people who don't know any references and from things. You know, people are like, oh, well, the TV shows back in the 90s, everyone was watching like the same 3 shows. Now it's a whole bunch of like, it's billions of reels. Well, I mean, like, I grew up and didn't know any trends, and look how I turned out. I turned out fine, right? And it's ridiculous. Now, the only thing that Mark Zuckerberg has done wrong, and according to this video documentary that King of Nothing did, it's 3 hours long. I watched almost the whole thing. Was that he wrote down all of his quote unquote crimes, right? Because all the stuff sounds bad, and that's just me. I mean, it sounds bad that you know, quote unquote, stole someone's idea. It sounds bad that you want more people to use your platform. It sounds bad that, you know, there's a quote unquote effects that quote unquote affect people's mental health. Okay, fine, guys. I'm going to give you some free legal advice. Don't write it down in files and then get subpoenaed by Congress, in which you have to show those files, and then it's bad PR. That is 101, guys. If you're going to commit crime, what Facebook did wasn't a crime, but if you're going to commit crimes, don't write down evidence of your crimes. Now, obviously, writing something down on the paper and saying a crime happened isn't proof. Okay, I can't just write down, hey guys, I stomped this kid over here stomped on that person's head yesterday, and then the police come and arrest him. That's not proof of anything. That's just proof that someone wrote something somewhere. Right? All right. And the quote unquote crimes that he did was that he wanted to crush his competition in emails. Big whoop. Okay, guys, breaking news here. I want to crush my competition, and I want to win above all. Is that supposed to be a crime? Is that supposed to be a crime now? He wants to crush his competition. The EU, who finds something useful by banning some Huawei, wants to ban some Huawei products, it apparently is under this stupid notion that every company should have like some little market share. You know, Snapchat gets 30%, Facebook gets 30%, some random stupid, you know, Fediverse service gets 30% here. No, okay, you're only gonna have like 5 or 6 main applications from a company. Of course, there's gonna be a quote unquote monopoly. I mean, no one's gonna create 12 different accounts just so they can keep up with their friends under the purpose of free trade or anti monopoly competitive behavior. Look, if Facebook offered me, if I had a messaging app in 2014 and they offered me billions of dollars to buy it, of course I buy it. I don't care if Facebook owns all the messaging apps if they make me a billionaire. The heck do I care? Look, of course I take that. These stupid EU and data regulations and anti-competition. You can only have about a few social networks at a time. Now, should Mark Zuckerberg have written in such violent language that he was going to want to crush his competition in an internal email? Now, I don't understand why all these internal emails were saved and apparently have to be presented before Congress and all these other things. I mean, if you're such a big company, you have all these annoying whistleblowers that just leak documents. The smart thing to do is to have in-person meetings where you scan everyone for bugs and don't produce any documents except for the documents that you're required by law to have, such as documents that you need to produce as a publicly traded company. I mean, if these people are so annoyed at you that you are apparently a company and not a charity whose job it is to make money and have people on your platform, which everyone acts like is a crime, then yeah, you probably shouldn't be writing this stuff down. But I mean, did he do anything wrong? I mean, he's just admitting stuff out loud that everyone knows. Okay, like, is it a crime to be competitive? Because I'd be in jail for 60 years. The only crime he committed was writing this stuff down. And these people, of course, who go on this, it just emboldens these people who are on social media who are performative about hating social media. Now, of course, I was one of those people. I mean, you can look up I hate TikTok, but TikTok is a Chinese communist spy application, so I have fairness in that. But it's not a thing. It is a trend it's just a trend. Hating something is a trend. Being anti-trend is a trend. It's just not that good or competitive or strategic of a trend. I would know because I used to be one of those anti-trend people. I mean, look, I don't hate the 6'7" meme because, look, I mean, the 6'7" meme's not bad and it's not doing anything wrong and it's genuinely liked by a lot of people. I mean, of course, there's an entire community of people under 30% that doesn't like something, but I mean, I don't care because it's pragmatically and strategically a horrible idea to engage with them. I mean, that's basically how this company was built, being kind of anti-smartphone, kind of anti-social media, kind of all that stuff, but that didn't really do anything because actually these people like their content. So be saying, oh, I hate Instagram Reels because everyone's on it. Hating something because everyone's doing it isn't actually strategy, right? It's always been banged into our heads that if all your friends jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? But we must stop and ask, why are they jumping off a bridge? Right? I'm not friends with dumb people. I'm not friends with idiots. So, to some degree, we have to ask, why are they jumping off a bridge? There's probably a good reason why they're jumping off a bridge. I mean, is this actually hurting anyone? No. Okay. Is that military dance that we did for the teen of the week where she was, I don't know what that was. Was that hurting anyone other than her joints from all that movement? No. And, it got to what she wanted. So, congratulations to her. That's my new outlook. That's my new strategy in life. Like for the artificial intelligence and to the Instagram girls and all these people. Right. We want to defeat and collab with the IT kiddos, and we want to beat them at their own game by using their own rules. We can't beat them just by hating their game and hating their rules. Okay, it'd be like beating them trying to play cricket while everyone else is playing basketball. Okay, you can hate basketball all you want and try to beat the basketball players by playing cricket, but this is the United States of America. Basketball is infinitely more popular than cricket. And that's why we need vital intel, and that's what a better way to have it than Instagram. Now, there was another criticism that they had, which was that Instagram and Facebook, of course, they track stuff and collect data for advertisers. And of course, they did some in kind of shady ways, like creating a VPN, a fake VPN that tracked when people opened up stories and that they were copycats. First of all, I mean, what else is there to innovate? And Instagram stories are a lot better than Snapchat stories. Okay, Snapchat it's trash. I don't know how they're making money. They don't really make money. I don't really know how they're still in business, but they just got Chinese investment or something. So if people are running out there to defend Snapchat and criticize Meta, just look at who their investors are. Second of all, they talk about, oh, they're collecting all this data. Oh, they're so bad. I mean, what really are they going to do with this data? It's more invasive to, like I said, for these parental control applications because it's more localized. It'd be more like if the mayor is collecting data rather than the president or the national security advice. And national security advice isn't going to go through all 30 million Americans' phones. Sorry, 300 million Americans' phones and scan individually one by one. He doesn't have time for that. That's what Facebook is doing. Like they're not going to go through half the world's phones and scan for something like that. And people shouldn't be downloading these scam VPN applications anyway. So they kind of got what was coming to them. And if they should have read the terms and conditions. I mean, the terms and conditions are long. Of course they're long because you have to have everything under every anything that could happen because the people who hate these companies are going to try to sue them for everything that they're worth. They're going to try to rip them off. I mean, it's ridiculous. And they have to put that in there. It's like, oh, you don't have informed consent. I mean, no one's forcing you to not read it. I mean, you could read it. It's just like, I don't know why you do that. And you're like, oh, they track your eye movement. They track this. They track that. They track that. And I mean, hot take here. And I'm going to cut to this. But I actually like ads that are targeted towards me. I mean, I don't want ads about, some monkeys in India or something. Like for some zoo in India. I don't care about that. I'm not going to India. And on Instagram, the ads are barely targeted, but I mean, at least they're a little bit interesting. Some of them are scammy, some of them are not. But I mean, I prefer having some targeted ads from Facebook services that are popping up in apps and on Instagram. I prefer having hyper targeted ads than having the trash, scammy. Oh, hey guys, you want to see your crush's photos on Snapchat? Like, okay, guys, this is such an obvious scam. Ads, right? Targeted ads are actually good. I don't understand why people are against them. Like, would you rather see a ad on TV on a channel that you don't really watch, or would you rather see an ad for something that that you want? That's how the economy works, right? Now, see, it's like for some Christian book. Now, the ads here aren't really as targeted, but at least it's targeted for the target audience of this website. Right, but Facebook Meta isn't going to make that much money doing that. And as a publicly traded company, their number one goal is legally to make money for their customers. And as long as the data doesn't go into the hands of an evil person, I think it's fine. And even if it does fall into the hands of some evil person, people say Mark Zuckerberg's an evil person. No, Mark Zuckerberg's not an evil person because he, did something wrong once and when he was 19 years old. Okay, he's fine. You think he's going in and typing out this random person this? No, he's not doing that. And you say, oh well, it makes people upset. He made the algorithm. Everyone whines about the algorithm all the time. And that's talking about TikTok. Then they just simp for it and worship it for some reason. Oh, the algorithm makes people see stuff that they don't want to see. It's not as social as it could be. Oh, the algorithm makes people upset. Well, you could just become like me and not be upset by what you see online because 90% of it is fake. Okay, 90% of the internet is fake. And if you do see something online, you could just be like, oh, okay, and then move on with your life. Okay, you don't have to sit around there and have a protest for every little injustice, quote unquote, that happens in your life. Okay, you don't need to sit around there and whine all the time. It's not his fault that you're whining. It's not his fault that you did this. It's your fault that you chose to be upset. It's not like Instagram zapped your brain and told you, hey guys, get angry. Okay. No, it's your fault. Okay, control your emotions, people. And for the hot take here, targeted ads are cool, and just ads in general are cool, right? People on the internet are constantly complaining that there are ads and everything. They whine about the unskippable ads on YouTube, right? And despite YouTube's biases, it is much better than Rumble. Okay, everyone's like, oh, go to Rumble. Rumble is trash. Rumble is horrid. Okay, Rumble's UI is bad, and Rumble's also Canadian. YouTube's American, so YouTube gets a point there as well. YouTube stores and hosts petabytes of data, supports live streams, and has growing short form platform. Not that's trash, but still it's growing. And you get all that for 1 minute ad in the video. You can watch an entire podcast, maybe get 3 or 4 ads. And people will sit there and complain, oh, I had to sit there and watch a 1 hour ad. I mean, back then, you want to watch a 25-minute television, so you're going to get 3 or 4-minute ads, right? You're going to get, you want to watch a 30 minutes of television. Wheel of Fortune will probably be about an hour long because you get 30 minutes of ads. You watch the NFL, 15 minutes of football, 3 hours of ads. Like, and you don't really see anyone complaining about that, but you see an ad on YouTube. I can't believe YouTube is so greedy. I can't believe that YouTube wants money. I can't believe that YouTube is showing ads. Like, come on, people. Come on. YouTube is one of the greatest sites on planet. It's hosts petabytes, maybe even larger. Well, I don't even know what's after the exabytes of data. And you were complaining about an ad on a video? Are you kidding me? And you're like, oh, well, this is terrible. We got to use all these workarounds, and Google's such an evil corporation. Well, okay, fine. You go out there. You create your own video streaming platform. You go out there and host petabytes of data. You go out there and create a website that is for use almost all the way across the globe. You go out there and promote it. You go out there and get some investment. You go out there and get, 90% of the online video revenue share. And then you go out there and tell me what you do next. You always talk about, oh, these people are evil capitalists. They get turned, they have millions and millions of dollars, and they don't let the money trickle down to us poor people, which is really funny because apparently, you apparently can afford to use YouTube, and you're just paying for it with your ad. And of course, the people on the privacy subreddits are going to be wondering, oh, you're paying for your privacy. Like, okay, you really think Google's going to be showing up to your house? Like, nah, okay. And then it's not even just YouTube. It's these other services as well, right? Cable and satellite TV, we pay good money for that, and you still get ads, and no one really complained about that. And now people are whining out there's ads and streaming services that cost about $100 to $150 a year. Oh, streaming services are so expensive. First of all, no one's forcing you to watch that television show. Second of all, you can always cancel. And I do like that streaming services are including ads in content and then lowering the price. Like, I'm actually fine with Tubi. Absolutely. I'm 100% free with ads. I'm actually fine with streaming services having a 30-second, 1-minute ad, and I get $3 off of a month of streaming services. Yes, watching some ad is worth $27 to me. $27 off if I were to pay $3. Let's say they take $3 a month off, and they extend it for, actually no, for 9 months. There you go, 27. Even more, $36. And people act like it's this great hole that ads exist. Yes, people want you to buy stuff. That's how the economy works. And targeted ads are even better because streaming services, they can kind of do targeted ads. TV companies, they don't really do targeted ads, but on your phone, targeted ads across the internet. I'm thankful for Meta for doing that. I'm thankful for Google for doing that. They know my likes, my dislikes, my interests. Now, I don't understand why Oculus Quest may want to track your eye movements, but I do understand why Instagram and other platforms may want to know how long you looked at a post and what the post was and what you're interested in and all of that. That makes sense. And it's like, it's a platform for people to spy on you, like the NSA. I'm gonna get hate for this, but I don't care. And the NSA already knows this. The NSA is a top tier, cool 8 spy agency. What the NSA does is super cool. And people always talk about, oh, you have these countries that the CIA overthrew their government. Well, they shouldn't have been weak. They should have had a better military. Kind of sucks for them. They shouldn't have lost. So too bad, so sad for them. Like, don't lose next time. That's my advice to you. You don't see any other countries coming over here and trying to overthrow us because they know they're gonna lose. So just don't lose. Sucks for you. And if you don't want this to happen, then just get a phone and then put it in a Faraday cage. Now, of course, your phone's not gonna make any calls or anything, but if that's worth it to you, then do that. But don't go spewing across the internet about how much you hate the internet and how much you hate these people. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, I'm sure he did a few maybe little sketchy things, but what he's done is great. Now, I will have some criticism for this. There was only one real criticism on the video, which was that he made the world a little bit less social. I wouldn't say he made it less social. Okay, everyone's acting like that but before Facebook existed, everyone was just frolicking around with 10 friends, and they all just started, But when Facebook came in, then people stopped having friends. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that in the 90s and the early 2000s, everyone just had, all these friends, people going over to people's houses and having parties and stuff like that. And, I can't really prove or disprove it because, there wouldn't be any proof that it happened because no one would have had it to post on because then Facebook wouldn't have existed. But the truth of the matter is, I doubt that happened. But I don't think people's friendships have declined since the 90s to, the early 2020s. Almost the late 2020s now. Wow. But he could make it incline. He could make it go up, right? They were whining that more of the content is algorithmic based because, let's be for real. These content platforms, if they just had you looking at your friends and what your friends are doing, quite frankly, what they're doing is probably boring, and I don't care what they're doing. But what you people do want is content. What they do want is entertainment. That's what it is. So people gravitate towards that as well. You know, that's why these applications that only have the, what do they call it? I don't know what they call it. Chronological feed aren't doing so well. People don't want to switch over. They're acting like they're being held at gunpoint. No, it's like they like it. They like the algorithmic content, right? Because it's entertaining to them. And, we're kind of starved for entertainment today because television shows, I mean, they're trash. I mean, look at Saturday's horrible TV show. I don't know what's popular, not like Stranger Things, which apparently came out in 2019, which means Stranger Things has been around since I was in 7th grade because it came out in summer of 2019. It's finishing up, and they only had 18 episodes? No, not Stranger Things. What's that other show? Adolescent Euphoria. Yeah, that's what it is. Euphoria. 18 episodes, and almost 7 years. Are you kidding me, people? You took 6 years to make 18 episodes? For context, it takes me 18 weeks to make 18 episodes of this podcast. Yeah, I don't know why people are turning away from TV. I can't believe it. I don't know why people are on their phones. Maybe if you didn't take and make 3 episodes a year, maybe if it didn't take you an entire year to film a scene, maybe people would make stuff. And maybe if all these shows went, trash and anti, would get, kicked off of plugged in, maybe people would actually watch. But, stop whining about that. People are starved for entertainment. And, having an application where you just see what your friends are doing, that's what we call a group chat. Okay, that's why iMessage doesn't make money. It sells iPhones, but iMessage isn't, for sale. And that's the EU forces them to do that, which I would not like. Okay, look, if Apple wants to have their own walled garden and force people in it, look, it's my job. I'm pro Samsung. I like Android. To convince people to not use Apple devices. But I mean, it's their phone and their choice, and it's a free country, and they can decide to have a walled garden. I mean, if Apple woke up one day and decided, hey guys, we're not going to allow you to download more than 5 apps, then I think actually Apple would survive. Email, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and then one game. Yeah, 90% of their customer base would be fine. Actually, no, email is built in, so you get 2 free apps. There we go. Apple Arcade, that counts as 1. Oh my goodness, I'm probably giving ideas to Apple. Don't do that, Apple. Actually do, because then it will sell lots more Android phones. But look, my point is, Apple can do whatever the heck they want, and I can criticize them for whatever the heck they want. But the EU should be stepping in for this. But back to the topic of social media, well, of course it's an entertainment platform. I mean, what? You want people to just look at what their friends are doing? That's what the group chat is for, right? Well, I've heard of these group chats. Never really been in one, right? But I assume that's what they're doing in the group chats. Other than, of course, some, borderline illegal stuff. Most likely that's what they're doing in the group chats, which is why it was so important, so key for us to get access to group chats so we can have an intelligence deal and share information with GCAT. But I digress. It's neither here nor there. I mean, of course, they transitioned to an entertainment platform. Obviously, it makes sense. But what Instagram does need to do, and what they could do, is add some sort of a skin, some sort of a layer. I've talked about this before. That makes making friends on there easier. They already have Facebook dating. They could just port that to Instagram, except change it from dating to friendship, making that be great. You would destroy communist whiz in Yubo in days. It would be over. It'd be the greatest feature known to man. You already know people's inferred ages. You have artificial intelligence that can scan through the photos. You have all this technology, and yet you don't leverage it. And it would be a very big project for someone like me or some other technological developers to come along and leverage it, so we can't really do it. Why, Instagram? Why? You have all this data, and you're putting it to good use by giving it out and selling ads with it, which is perfectly fine. Which is perfectly fine. I mean, what else were they going to do with the data? Look at it. Well, oh, guys, look, this person liked the red dress. Wow, isn't that interesting? You think Mark Zuckerberg is sitting up there like, wow, look at this kid. She liked 3 images. Interesting. And just takes notes. Like, what? You think he cares? Nah. Okay, they sold the data, which is fine, in my opinion. I mean, it's not like they were going to sit there and look at it or something. But they could actually use this to create the greatest friend-making app ever known. Or at least allow other developers to do that as well. I mean, it'd be amazing. It'd be a technological advancement. It'd be an achievement. He should get the Nobel Peace Prize for this. So that was one fair criticism, but all these other criticisms about he does illegal stuff. Oh, it hurts people. Oh, it breaks their attention spans. Oh, that harvesting. It's just a bunch of cope. It's a bunch of cope because the people making the videos, of course, they hate the billionaires, which I don't understand why. Like, why would you hate someone because they have more money than you? That's ridiculous. I look up to people that are more powerful or more popular or whatever, more successful than me, and people, of course, are hating on them. Slight tension here. Shout out to Hazel's Truth. My goodness, she got invited to speak at some conference here in Texas. Amazing. And according to the conference website, she went from 0 to 4 within 4 months. She went from 0 to 10,000 followers in 4 months. Astonishing growth. Amazing and great. And she does it with just a simple, good message. Now, I don't know why anyone would hate on that. I don't know why anyone would be anti that. We look at that and say, wow, how can we emulate Hazel? How can we, do what she did? Right? Wow, what an inspiration. Wouldn't you want to be friends with her? Brylan Hollyhand, also another person like this. He does this. He goes on podcasts. He's only done one wrong thing in his life, and that's be an Auburn fan, which I think they're getting beat down right now. Let's check. Who's winning the Alabama game? It's 17-6 Alabama. Roll Tide. Yeah, he's only done one wrong thing in his life, and he's going to be depressed in 30 minutes when halftime is over. Sorry, Bryden. But, he's great. He has a private jet, and he goes around teaching kids good lessons. And, he sounds like my grandpa. Is that supposed to be a crime or something? Since when is having a private jet a crime? No, we should all be looking up to Hazel, and we should all be looking up to Brylan. And congratulations to them as well. Okay? I don't know why these people why they're getting hate. Like, this is ridiculous. And I'd like to be friends with all of them. They're great people. Okay, and well, what is your problems with these people? Like, like if someone's more successful than you, right? I'm not saying that she gets lots of hate. I'm just saying, like, if someone is more successful than you, why would you hate on them? The smart thing to do would be try to emulate or create your own success. It's not a zero-sum game. You can have 10,000. You can also have 10,000 followers. People can follow multiple people. That's how the app works. You can have a private jet, or you can ride on a private jet, and you can also ride on a private jet. It's not like there's one private jet on the world. It's not like there's only one private jet on the planet. She can speak at a conference, and I can speak at a conference. It's not like there's only one conference and only one speaker. Right? It's a multi-sum game, and everyone can win. So I don't understand why these people get why people like that would get hate. Anyway, congratulations to her. And now, Photoshop Liquify on the screen. My podcasting. There we go. Photoshop Liquify in Android. Of course, people go, you're promoting body dysmorphia. Which, okay, first of all, well, if something looks fake, it most likely 100% is. Okay? And second of all, look, if you want to look pretty on Instagram, is that supposed to be a crime or something? Like, all these people are creating a whole bunch of non-crimes. Okay? Now, Mark Zuckerberg, he's just like me, right? Except, I didn't commit any crime. Anyway, it's a photo editing software. You can reshape stuff. You can reshape your body. You can reshape something like this. You just use the reshape tool here. Look how I squished the Nokia. Sorry. Ooh, terrible thing. Oof. This is the T-Mobile Sidekick. This is the TechMate from Zoe 101. Look how I squished it in. Isn't that cool? You can use that. You can share your photos like that. Amazing. Yeah. Great. I don't understand why anyone would hate something like that, but I mean, we really do need to come up with new technological ideas because writing about stuff like that is ridiculous. And thank goodness he did release that video, because I actually better create a 30-minute segment about I don't know why people hate Mark Zuckerberg, because then this podcast would have been only 19 minutes long, which would be sad. All right, we got to pull up our teen of the week, but we'll pull that up later. We gotta have a video too. Someone thinks that not the Pineys, Woodlands, Texas. Yeah, I don't know what the pineys are, but that's there's the yeah, almost forgot about our Reddit section. Thank you, Kate, for reminding us about this. Yes. So what were we talking about? Oh yes, the teens of Reddit have parents that let's pull this up here, guys. Yeah, these can be our teen of the week segment. Let me pull this up. What was the first question? Man, too bad we're doing this live. This looks really bad. Oh yes, my teen wants to go on. As you guys know, I like to look up a whole bunch of parenting blogs, a whole bunch of stupid questions, because people on Reddit always have the dumbest, answers to things. And apparently, kids going on trips alone is a thing. What? Trip alone with friends. Now, of course, this exists in the hyper theoretical, right? Like I said, it would be the same thing. Like I said, it'd be an easier chance. More like if there was a potty market bet, not affiliated, not sponsored, on if I would nuke Canada or have a purity score of 60, I take the nuking of Canada. It's like the same thing. Like all this stuff. Oh, could this team go on? It's a hyper theoretical thing. Like, I mean, it's the same chance that would happen of me. Okay, guys, here's the scenario, right? Like, technically, there is no law against me, like burning down a tree or something. Well, it's against the law, but like, there's no rules here. But it's me burning down a tree because it's like unprecedented. Why would they go around burning down trees? It's like it's unprecedented that I'd be going out on trips at 15 years old by myself or with friends. But apparently that's very common over here on Reddit. Let's see what the people are saying. Like, what is going on the site? See, I just kind of stand around. This is what happens, and then I come up with podcast content for this. So thank you for this. Like, whoa, what? I mean, what do you think would happen if this happened to me? I mean, obviously this wouldn't happen to me. My IQ is not that low, but let's read this. My 49 female child. Sorry, this person who wrote this 49 female, not the child. Is 40. My child, I'm not going to even read that, 17, has asked me if he could go on a trip about 4 hours away with his girlfriend, 16. His friend, that's already an accomplishment that it's a boy dating a girl. Thank goodness. It's this Reddit from 2 years ago, but that's already an accomplishment. Right? His friend, and then they come up with these names. I mean, I created SLTW. It created like 17,000 fake names. Geneva, Summer, Amala. I mean, I even referenced to that, in real life, accidentally. Jayla, right? You couldn't even come up with a real name here. Come on, people. Be real. I mean, and my names are goated. Okay, Summer. What a great name. My name was supposed to be Savannah, but then we forgot that we did that post and we made it Summer. Amazing name. It also created one of the greatest titles in history, Summertime, and Watergate, which is a close second title. Speaking of, the only crime he committed was that he got caught committing Watergate. Also, he probably shouldn't have been doing that because he was going to win that election easily. Would have been in the top 5, at least in his party. Because he won his re-election, but. You shouldn't have been paranoid. See, don't get caught. That's the whole thing. Like these teenagers who were drinking, they got caught. So sucks for them. Too bad. You got what was coming to you. You deserved it. But I didn't get caught. Actually, I did get caught because I confessed it to them. But they did. Okay, for some reason they started making monkey noises, so maybe that kind of played into it. Also, I didn't make it their fault because they said that they were going to spy on me first, which then said that I had reasonable belief that they put bugs in my backpack. Now, obviously, we all know that they didn't put bugs in my backpack because they couldn't create spy toys of mass destruction as it's described on the website within like 72 hours. But I mean, I guess. If we operate under the belief that GCAM had a headquarters and they all kind of got together, the stuff that GCAM did do was kind of unprecedented within essence. Like we talked about with the radio analogy, how we were coded on Adventure and Odyssey like an LLM. I guess it is. Who knows? Who truly knows? Is it true? Do girls sit around and create bugs so that they can bug their political opponents within 72 hours of at their own high school? Who knows? That could be a thing that happens. So, we naturally, of course, have to bug them back. That's how it works. We made it their fault. That's what Nixon should have done. So that's my presidential advice to him. But I digress. From Summer. Create better names. Am I alive yet? 17 male, let's call him B. And B's girlfriend, 16 female. So there's 4 people here. And all of them are friends far before they were dating in any regard. Sure they were, bro. And I know them well. The friends are responsible, and my son has yet given me reason to distrust him or his friends. The initial plan is to go to B's uncle's house on a private beach and stay there for 2 nights. Again, on to point 2. Man, the teens of Reddit are like loaded. Like a private beach, a private house. Where are you people doing this? I've read one of these scenarios where they're trying to go on a private jet with their friends, and the Redditors are actually happy with this. You know, see, this is what you used to be happy for your friends who have private jets. Coughs in Brian and Hardyhan. Why are people mad at Brian and Hardyhan for sitting on a private jet? Like that's a crime. What is this? A climate summit? Anyway, the initial plan is to go to B's uncle's house and stay on a private beach and stay there for 2 nights, coming back on the 3rd. My only gripe with the situation is that there'll be no adult supervision at the house. Now, I thought, and I could be wrong here, but that most normal, insane parents should be like, are you insane? Heck no. After that. And I thought, well, this is Reddit, and, you know, people on the site aren't normal insane. So I thought 40% of the people would be like, yeah, it's fine. And then the other 60% would be like, heck no. Are you insane? I was wrong. 100% of the people were like, heck yeah, let's do this. Yeah, guys. What could possibly go wrong? What on earth could possibly go wrong in a house on a private beach with an average age of 16 and a half? Nothing has ever gone wrong before. Now, look, I will totally admit that my knowledge on this is based off of Focus on the Family, who and Adventure Odyssey and you know, audio dramas and movies and TV. And, you know, Focus on the Family did once say in a website where they said it's like it was an episode against, you know, premarital, not episode, article against premarital sex, which of course I am totally against. I'm pro the article against, you know what I mean. But they're like, as you guys know, Focus on the Family is an evangelical organization. Nah, really? What? I didn't know that. I thought Focus on the Family was Catholic. What? Obviously, we know that Focus on the Family. You don't need to state that at the beginning of the article. And then they said the number one point was, oh, well, sex could result in pregnancy. Nah, really? Focus on the groundbreaking stuff here. My dollars, well, not tax dollars, my donation dollars going to this groundbreaking research. And actually going to tell me that the Earth is round. Wow. Can you believe it? Focus on the wow. And then they said that you shouldn't do this because one of the analogies they gave is that you shouldn't use the Mona Lisa as a table. What? But anyway. So that's where my information is coming from. I would thought they would say no, because obviously stuff goes wrong when stuff like this happens. You know, 16 average age of 16 and a half is crazy. The son wants to go. I mean, I guess I'd want to go too. And let's see what the Redditors are saying here. Let him go, he says. Good test of adulthood to see how he handles independence. What happens if he burns the house down? Like, I mean, that could happen. That could actually happen. And then, of course, there's people who are saying, oh, well, I did a video about this. Oh, well, we don't want him to drink, but, you know, if they tell him to drink, don't get into a car. You know, these people are being so casual. Oh, well, you know, we don't want our son to commit a crime, but what'd you say about this about any other crime? Oh, well, you know, we don't want our son committing murders, but, you know, if they're going to commit murders, make sure you do them inside the, oh, no, we don't want them, you know, vaping, but, you know, make sure that they're vaping inside. I mean, like, they are on a beach, so if the house does burn down, they are close to water. It's like, it's just a thing. And these people are like, when I was 17, I went by myself to England. I'm assuming you're from America, but like, what? 17 does not need adult supervision. They're basically adults at themselves at that point. He's 17, not 12. Now, if they said that in some other context, you'd get raked over the coals for that. So, you know. The guy is 17. What will you do when he turns 18? Well, he's not 18 now. So there's this. Dang, let the guy live a little. In the UK, it's legal to drink at 18. Yeah, well, and also in the UK, they tax milkshakes. So, like, they tax knives in the UK. So, you know, I mean, I really wouldn't cite the UK on anything legal. Also, the UK has given much to the world. Every 6 days, someone is celebrating their independence because of the UK. Because the UK lost a whole bunch of wars. So, you know, I wouldn't be citing them. Canadian. My 17 male spent a month last summer in Ireland with friends. I'm assuming by himself. Okay, bro. I just don't know. That's just a thing. And then there's another thing here. Trip alone with friends. And then there's another thing about how they went on their private jet with their friends, which is insane. Like, where are these teens coming from? And then for the last one, my teen, I kind of find these posts kind of sad, kind of funny here. They're like, what do you do when your teen has wealthy friends or something? And they're like, wow, they're going over to the house and they're spending time with them. Oh yes, and I was able to lean into this. And I saw this absolute gem of a post that I know was 100% completely fake news. Watch this, guys. What should I do? Let's go to the what should I do Reddit. Here it is. The what should I do subreddit here. Look at this gem of a post, guys. And I can okay. Yes, here we go. From 6 days ago, Mrs. Inevitable Cap 8028 said, and let's quote this, guys. Amazing stuff going on the cesspool of idiots. Hey everyone, throw away account because my son is on here. My son, 17 Mel, is a great kid, really smart and handles himself really well. But ever since he started high school, he's been exclusively interested in girls who are distinctly preppy. The kind with designer bags, big houses, and are very cliquey. When I asked him a while ago, he said he's basically just like the aesthetic of it, and he really admires them, which is okay. I guess that's fine. It's starting to feel weird to me. He spends a lot of time at their places and their homes on a completely different level than ours, for solid middle class, but their houses are mansions. I know he's getting caught up in that lifestyle that isn't his, and he's valuing the surface level stuff too much. His current girlfriend is nice enough and she treats him well, but she can be a bit pushy, and honestly, the entire group is pretty cliquey and mean at times. I want him to look for friends that are kind, smart, and a good person on the inside, not the outside. It feels like he's looking for validation for them rather than spend time with me. Am I overthinking this? TLD on my son, high school son only hangs out with wealthy preppy girls since she likes aesthetic. I'm worried he's prioritizing status and looks of a genuine connection and substance. Thoughts, less advice. Who on earth thinks that's happened? I can't believe the people on that site actually believe that happened. Like, come on, people. That's obvious bait. 100% did not happen. For all the things that didn't happen the most. Anyway, God bless. Tech talk to you later. God bless Meta. And wait, where's the off button on this thing? Anyway. Cancel. I'm still looking for the end because the stupid site. Minimize. Nope. No. Oh, there it is. They moved it for some reason. Anyway, God bless. Tech talk today. God bless.